Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Welcome to my monthly video on the best new editions of board games hitting retail. And this month we have a lot of stuff. I honestly think this might be the most games I've ever had in this video. As always, I include three types of games in this new editions video. I include just sort of updates of older games. You know, we're releasing a new edition of a game because maybe it's been out of print for a while, maybe it's been unavailable for a while. I also include sort of reimplementations of older games. Sometimes this is largely the same as an older game, but now it has a new name or a new theme or new artwork, that sort of stuff. And then I also include games that are in an established line of games. You know, oh, there's a bunch of games in this series, and this is a new version in that series, so I'll include that right here as well. As many of you know, I also do a best new games hitting retail video every month and a best expansions video hitting retail every month, so check out those ones as well. But for now, again, we got a lot of games to get through this month, so hope you want some new additions here in June. As always, I do these in alphabetical order of the publisher. First up for June, we have Cryptozoic is releasing DC deck building game Justice League Dark. This is a new edition, sort of a standalone edition, a standalone expansion, however you want to call it, of their DC deck building game, which came out originally, you know, a little over 10 years ago, I think. And this Justice League Dark, you know, it's a sort of standard deck building game. You are building up your deck of characters, fighting bad guys, that sort of stuff. Plays 2 to 4 players in 60 to 90 minutes, and it is a sort of lighter medium weight game. This Justice League Dark version includes Justice League Dark members like Wonder Woman, John Constantine, Zatanna, Dr. Fate. So add some new characters to the DC deck building game if you have other versions of it. You know, one of the things about these is that they can be sort of combined with other versions, other you know, aspects of the DC deck building game, but can also be played alone if you just want to play these characters. There are new weakness cards that have a built-in way to get rid of them. There are transform cards that have the ability to change into other cards. So yeah, if you're a fan of deck building games, then check out DC deck building game Justice League Dark. Cryptozoic is also releasing DC deck building game Rivals Shazam versus Black Adam. This is the same thing where, like, this can be combined with other DC deck building components and versions, or it can be played standalone. If you want to play this one standalone, it is 2 players only because it is just those 2 characters, Shazam and Black Adam. Plays in 45 to 60 minutes, and it is that lighter medium weight game as well. So, you know, again, each character in the DC deck building game has sort of an asymmetric deck of cards. They're going to give you the ability to do different things in the game. And, you know, some of them have sort of more and more incredible abilities, but they have more and more cost to the card. So, yeah, if you like deck building games, then check out these ones from Cryptozoic. Flat River Group, in association with Yellow, is releasing Guilty Houston 2015. There are a few games in this Guilty series and more coming out. It is essentially a detective style, you know, mystery solving game. If you like mystery solving games, then this might be a good one for you. Plays 1 to 99 players. Essentially, you can play this with however many people you want to play it with because you're all sort of combining your brains to figure it out. You cannot play it with 100 people, though. It's 1 to 99. Don't you dare try to fit 100th in there like you have 100 friends anyways. Nobody has 100 friends they can play this with. So it's plays in 180 to 240 minutes, but that's like the whole game, and it is a medium weight game. There are a decent amount of detective mystery solving type games out there. I don't know what makes this one different than other ones. There's not that much information about this game out there yet, so I can't tell you how this differs from, like, again, there's a lot of these types of games out there. I can tell you thematically, you are heading to a prison because somebody has died in the county women's prison, and that wasn't just anybody. It was Senator Kowalski's daughter. Dun, dun, dun! A lot of drama here. A lot of intrigue. A lot of stakes. High stakes. Senator's daughter, somebody's going to pay. Heads will roll if we don't figure out who killed the senator's daughter. So, if you like that theme, if you like mystery solving games, then check out Guilty Houston 2015. Flat River Group and Yellow are also releasing Clash of Magic Schools. This is a reimplementation of the game Babel, and it is somewhat of the same mechanisms but changes the theme around. Whereas Babel was sort of ancient civilizations, now this one is magic schools. Like, instead of trying to build up and combat between ancient civilizations, now you are playing as the headmaster of a magic school facing each other in the finals of the Tournament of Sorcerers. So, kind of a Harry Potter Wizards Cup theme to it. There are different lanes where you are playing you're playing different people, students, into different arenas, and those lanes are sort of representing the different arenas. I don't know if I said it. It is a 2-player only game. Plays in about 45 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. So if you want a head-to-head sort of outsmart your opponent card-playing game, then Clash of Magic Schools might be for you. And also, if you like the game Babel, but you were like, nah, this isn't the theme for me, well, now you got a new theme. That's sort of the point of a lot of these new editions, is it's certainly much more like bright artwork and feels like maybe a lighter theme, the Clash of the Wizard Schools. So, yeah, definitely changes that old game around. So, Flat River Group, in association with Ludonate, is releasing Kids Express. This is essentially a lighter version of the game Colt Express. If you've ever played Colt Express, it's one of the best sort of welcoming games, I think, out there. There is a train, and you are playing as robbers, and you're moving from train car to train car, playing some cards, trying to steal loot. Well, this is taking that game and making it more appropriate for kids. Plays 1 to 4 players in 20 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. You still have the train cars a little bit in this game. They're not the sort of double-decker train cars, but there are still train cars here in this Kids Express. And you're not playing as the bandits. Instead, now you're playing as kids trying to sort of outsmart the bandits, trying to keep the bandits from stealing stuff. So, we're promoting the good side instead of the bad guys to kids now. And you are, you're moving on the train like you were in Colt Express, but now one of the things you can do is you can knock bandits off of the train. There's a little sort of contraption where you can launch something at the bad guy standee, at the sort of train robber standee, and knock it off of the train. And if you do, then they have to go back to their hideout. So it adds a physical dexterity element to the game in a fun, silly way. So we're counting on you, kids. We're counting on you to stop the bandits, to stop the robbers. If you want a more family-friendly version of Colt Express, then check out Kids Express. Grand Gamers Guild is releasing Holiday Hijinks number 9, The Marriage Mix-Up. Holiday Hijinks is a game. It's a sort of escape room in 18 cards. They are little tiny box games, and you are solving puzzles. And one of the things I've liked about the Holiday Hijinks series is they feel very thematic to different holidays. It's a sort of fun family activity to play during Halloween or Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter or 4th of July. There's a bunch of them in the series, and all of the puzzles sort of reveal a mystery, a storyline, and all of the puzzles are thematically connected to that holiday. Well, this isn't, a particular holiday. This is about a wedding, so this is sort of thematically connected to weddings. It says it plays 2 to 4 players, but you really could play this by yourself or with as many people as you want. You're just collectively trying to figure out the puzzle. And it plays in about an hour. They are one-time use games. All of the holiday hijinks games are essentially one-time plays, but you're not destroying anything in the game. You're not destroying anything with the cards, and so it's easy to give it away. You play it once and you can give it away. And in fact, if you are interested in this game or sort of any of the games in the Holidays Hijinks series, I have a discount code. If you use the word Grant at Grand Gamers Guild, then you can get 10% off any of the Holiday Hijinks games. And so again, it's just solving puzzles and figuring out the storyline and thematically connected to different holidays, that sort of stuff. And then another game that Grand Gamers Guild is releasing is Endangered Rescue Number 1, Galapagos Penguins. This is interesting because it sort of combines the Holiday Hijinks series with the Endangered series. Those are both from Grand Gamers Guild. Endangered is a cooperative game where you are working to save animals. And then Holiday Hijinks, I just told you about. Well, this is essentially an 18-card escape room style game, but instead of being thematically connected to holidays, it is now thematically connected to helping and saving different animal species. And this is the first in this Endangered rescue line, but there will be more. So in this one, you are, you're trying to help bring attention to the plight of the endangered Galapagos penguin. So, still 18 cards, still small box. You'll be trying to solve puzzles and figure things out, sort of an escape room style game, but themed to Galapagos penguins, which I didn't even know existed. So, hey, there you go. We do need to bring attention to the plight of the Galapagos penguin. I didn't know that it was a thing. So, yeah, if you like little escape room style games, then check out either Holiday Hijinks or Endangered Rescue. Hachette, in association with Hijinks, is releasing Quoridor Pac-Man. This is a Pac-Man themed version of the fairly classic game at this point, Quoridor. If you don't know Quoridor, it is a themeless wooden pretty game for 2 players where you are trying to get your piece from one side of the board to the other side of the board, but the other player, your opponent, is putting down little walls, and so you are trying to disrupt somebody's route to the other side of the board by placing these walls. And so this version actually contains 2 things in the box. There is sort of just the classic Quoridor game, but now instead of regular pieces, you have Pac-Man pieces, so you can play just the regular game of Quoridor, but with, ghosts and Pac-Man and stuff like that. Or there is also a new version in the game that plays like, the arcade game that has a new rule set, and you can kind of, Pac-Man's going around trying to do some stuff and ghosts are trying to catch him and that sort of thing. The original game was 2 to 4, it said it was 2 to 4 players, but really it was a 2-player game. This says 2 to 5 players, plays in 15 minutes, and it is a lighter weight game. I haven't played it yet, but I wonder if it's the same thing. Quoridor was great for 2 players, but I don't think I would have ever played it at 3 or 4. We'll see if I'll play this one at 3, 4, or 5, even though it says it, but definitely works as a 2-player game. I was excited to check this one out because I like Pac-Man a bunch. It's an arcade game that I still play if I'm in an arcade, and so it's fun to see a version of that in tabletop form. So, Incredible Dream is releasing a Gentle Rain Bloom edition. So I talked about the version last month, which was a Gentle Rain. What was it? It was just the Gentle Rain sort of classic edition. A Gentle Rain Bloom edition is actually a Target exclusive. So if you want this version of a Gentle Rain, then you need to go to Target. A Gentle Rain is a great solo sort of peaceful, chill, puzzly game where you are putting down tile pieces, and if you can connect flowers, then you can put that flower token in the middle, and there's no way to win or lose the game. You're just trying to beat your best score. You are trying to play it again and beat your best score. And, you know, every version, every game of A Gentle Rain probably plays in 15 minutes or something like that. So it's one that I often play multiple times in a row just to be like, can I beat my score from the last game? And it is very pretty. This Bloom edition does make it a much larger box. So it's certainly not a big game now, but it is, you know, the sort of classic edition of A Gentle Rain is maybe this big, the box, and now we're doing this big. So if you want sort of a bigger version on your shelf, and with that comes kind of upgraded components. Instead of just these wooden flower tiles or these wooden flower pieces, now you've got these sort of big acrylic, three-dimensional, very pretty tiles. That's the main thing. The gameplay is still the same here, but it's got the big sort of components. It almost just feels like a deluxe version of the game, which is kind of interesting because a lot of time the Target exclusive versions are sort of pared down versions of games. You know, we're trying to put it into a cheaper price point for the big box store, but this almost feels like a sort of bigger, more deluxeified version of A Gentle Rain for the Target audience. So yeah, if you're looking for a nice little puzzly solo game, A Gentle Rain is very nice. All right, Cosmos is releasing a few games in their Exit series. So, you know, when we talk about, at the beginning of this video, when I talk about sort of games that are in an established series of games are included in this video, this is kind of one of the ones I'm thinking. There are a lot of Exit games out there, and they are all sort of mechanically connected in the sense that they are all escape room style puzzly games where you are often destroying things, you're cutting things, you're folding things, you're just trying to figure out the puzzles. And they're meant as one-time play things. And there are a lot of different games in the Exit line. There are a bunch of different ones you can check out with different themes. And so here we have Exit the Magical Academy. Can you solve the riddles to remove poltergeists from the Academy of Magic? That's going to be the difference between all the Exit games. It's the theme, and, you know, certainly the puzzles in the games are going to be different as well, but you're not going to know what the puzzles are until you actually get into the game. So if you want to check out the Exit ones, I recommend picking the theme that speaks to you the most. Do you think this sounds like a cool storyline to explore? Then pick that one. So this one, removing poltergeists from the Academy of Magic. We also have Exit the Hunt Through Amsterdam. And that one, you are trying to solve the riddle of a lost painting by Vincent van Gogh. So yeah, you know, if you like art, if you like Van Gogh, then check out Hunt Through Amsterdam. And then last in that, we have Exit Kids, Riddles in Monsterville. The difference between this one and many of the other Exit games is this one is meant for families and kids, and but the difference is you're not destroying stuff. This one can be played multiple times. This is you're not ripping up cards or anything like that. Thematically, the Riddles in Monsterville, you're trying to help get the cookie tins back. The cookie monsters have stolen the cookie tins from your neighborhood, and you have to get them back. So that's a fun theme for kids. You know, I should say with all of these Exit games, you know, they're listed as 1 to 4 players, but again, it's a cooperative game system, so you can play it with as many people as you want. It's just, if you're playing it with 10 people, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen and a lot of people have different opinions on what you should be doing to solve the puzzles and the riddles. So, I prefer them probably at like 3 players. 3 or 4 is probably my preferred player count. I can't play them at 1 because I can't figure it out. I'm like, I don't know if I'm dumb or if this is just not how my brain works, so I need another person at least to try to bounce things off of. But yeah, there you go. Those are all the games coming out this month in the Exit series. Phalanx Games is releasing a new version, or is releasing the game Huang. And Huang is essentially a new version of Yellow and Yangtze from famous designer Reiner Knizia. It also reimplements elements of Tigris and Euphrates. So Huang is mostly Yellow and Yangtze, but includes some stuff from Tigris of Euphrates, so it's sort of re-implementing both of those games into a new game. But if you've played either of those, especially Yellow and Yangtze, then you will know this game. A lot of the mechanisms are similar, but, a lot of times what they do when they're sort of re-implementing or re-releasing an older game under a new name is we've streamlined, we've changed some mechanisms around, we've made changes to the game, so we didn't want to just release it as the same name, even though it is largely the same game, but now there have been tweaks and stuff to the gameplay. Huang plays 2 to 4 players in about 90 minutes, and it is a medium plus weight game. It is an area control game. You are playing. It's set in ancient China during the time of the Warring States, and you are playing as one of those warring states, battling to unite the country under your dynasty. And so there's certainly an area control aspect of the game. You're also trying to build pagodas, which are going to score you points. You are trying to either trigger or avoid wars on the board, depending on how strong you are, how good your position is. So if you are, it's a one of the things that's nice about it, highly thematic and strategic game that plays in about 90 minutes. I love games that have deep strategy to them, but play decently quickly. And this one is for sure like that. So if you've never played Yellow and Yangtze before, then this is a better way to jump into the game system, probably. Anytime they release new versions of stuff, it feels like they streamline it, they smooth it out, they make it easier to get into. So check out Huang. Portal Games is releasing Robinson Crusoe Collector's Edition. So Robinson Crusoe is one of the more deeply strategic cooperative games. I feel like a lot of cooperative games are lighter games. This is a heavyweight game. Robinson Crusoe is a heavyweight game for 1 to 4 players that plays in multiple hours. You are playing as castaways trying to survive on a deserted island. You are in the game Robinson Crusoe. You are exploring the land to gather resources. You're constructing shelters. You are fighting wild animals. You're just doing whatever it takes to survive. And the game comes with a bunch of different scenarios and hundreds of cards, so there's a ton of replayability in Robinson Crusoe. So the game first came out in 2012. This collector's edition, same gameplay. It's just sort of like a deluxeified version of the game. So, for instance, this has 18 miniatures in the game, so you can get a bunch of miniatures for Robinson Crusoe. It has plastic storage inserts in the box for all the components. It has a larger box with great artwork. It has an open and play tutorial, so it can help get people into the game easier. It adds new scenarios specifically designed to teach the game to new players. So you can sort of go through it and learn the rules as you go. You can play through some scenarios and it'll add more and more strategic depth as you play the game. So yeah, if you want a deluxeified version, if you want a bunch of miniatures for Robinson Crusoe, things like that, then this collector's edition is how you can do that. Ravensburger is releasing Disney Villainous Sugar and Spite. Disney Villainous is a game that has a bunch of versions of it, and this is essentially like a standalone expansion. And what I mean by that is this game, this Sugar and Spite, can be played totally separately. It is a 2-player game if you want to just play this version, but you can also combine it with other Disney Villainous characters and decks and boxes and all that sort of stuff, and you can make the game what you want it to be. In this version, you are playing as either Disney's King Candy or Shere Khan. Those are the 2 characters that it's adding to the game. If you've ever wanted to try an asymmetric game, this is one of the better sort of introduction to asymmetric games. You know, a game like Root is going to be pretty heavy, but this game is sort of a lighter medium weight game, and every character has its own deck, has its own win conditions, has its own play styles, and so you can really learn about asymmetry in a game that's not crazy complex or anything like that. And that's one of the fun things about Disney Villainous, is exploring all the different characters and figuring out which ones you like to play as and which ones you don't like to play as and stuff like that. So yeah, this one has all the components you need to play as those 2 new villains, but you can combine it with other versions of Disney Villainous and play as other villains as well. So there you go. Renegade Game Studios is releasing Robo Rally Transformers. This is essentially re-implementing Robo Rally, but adding Transformers into the game. Yeah. So if you've never played Robo Rally is a robot racing game where you are programming your robots. You are playing cards to move them in different directions, and there's a lot of obstacles on the board. You know, there's jumps, there's traps, there's things like that. And so this version of it, it's adding 6 Transformer robots to the game, and each of those have their own upgrades, they have their own unique advantages, they have their own identities, but the coolest thing about it, I think, is players can convert their Transformer robots between bot and vehicle modes. So literally like a Transformer, you can transform between bot and vehicle modes, and those 2 different modes are going to help you better navigate, you know, the different roads and obstacles and buildings and things like that on the board. So you are strategically transforming your form in order to handle the different things on the board that make up each race. So yeah, that's pretty cool. This game features 4 new double-sided game boards, which, you know, have their own maps and their own challenges on it, and stuff like that. So, yeah, seems like a fun, unique way to play Robo Rally. Renegade Game Studios is also releasing Axis and Allies Anniversary Edition. This is the 40th anniversary of Axis and Allies, and so, you know, if you don't know Axis and Allies, it's one of the most well-known and beloved war games out there, where you're playing as either sort of the Axis of Evil or the Allies during World War II, fighting for control on the board, putting troops on a map and stuff like that. This 40th anniversary edition is a re-release of the deluxe edition. So this edition includes an all-new, huge 24 by 46 game board, so make sure you have a big play space to play this. It also adds Italy as a third Axis nation, so new stuff to play with there. It includes over 670 plastic miniatures, and it includes new cruiser units. So if you want war games, Axis and Allies is definitely one that takes a long time to play. It does play 2 to 6 players, so you know, be prepared for a big strategy session when you play Axis and Allies. Restoration Games is releasing Unmatched, Slings and Arrows. This is another one of those sort of standalone expansion, new edition sort of stuff. I never know what to call these exactly because there are a bunch of games in the Unmatched line. This is a new version of a game for Unmatched. It plays independently of anything else in the Unmatched line, but also can be combined with other Unmatched sets. So you can buy this, and that's all you need to play the game of Unmatched. But if you want to, you can combine the characters in this with characters from other Unmatched sets. This set is all about Shakespeare, which is pretty wild because it is sort of a fighting game. It is a combat game where, Unmatched in general, every character has its own asymmetric deck, its own asymmetric play style. You are moving around the board and fighting other characters out there and trying to win with your own special abilities. So this adds a few things to the game. It adds William Shakespeare to the game. It adds the Wayward Sisters, which are the witches from Macbeth. It adds Hamlet, and it adds Titania. So all of those are going to have different playstyles, different asymmetric decks, and if you wanted to see William Shakespeare kick some butt, then maybe this was your chance to do it. If you were like, I'm tired of Shakespeare writing, I want to see him get in the ring, Stop running your pen, Shakespeare, and get in this ring. Well, that's what you're doing right here. So, you can either play it as 2 players or as 4 players sort of in teams. Plays in 20 to 40 minutes, and it is, I guess, like a lighter weight, but on the upper end of the lighter weight game. So, if you like Unmatched, now you can get Shakespeare in it. Rio Grande Games is releasing a second edition of Colorado Midland. Colorado Midland originally came out in 2011, but now there is a new version of it. Plays 3 to 5 players in 45 minutes, and it is a medium weight game. Colorado Midland is in Rio Grande's sort of train game line. They have a bunch of train games that are coming out that they've released over many, many years, many decades. So if you are a fan of train games, then check out Rio Grande Games' train games. In this version, in Colorado Midland, players are mine owners spurring the fledgling railroads through the daunting alpine terrain, I could get that, to the various booming mining districts. There's no luck in the game, just shared incentives and emerging alliances. So the alliances will shift as people can help you achieve your objective. So if you like train games, check it out. Speaking of train games, Steve Jackson Games is releasing a new version of the game Express. This came out in like 1990 originally, and I believe it's been out of print for a while, so if you ever wanted to try Express boils train games down into cards. So that's the difference here. You are, it's sort of reminiscent of classic card games, but now you're playing cards to build trade routes, to, move goods, to do all that sort of stuff. So Express plays 2 to 6 players in about an hour, and it is a lighter weight game. It is a card game. So, if you want to try a train game but don't want the commitment of like a big board and a lot of components and stuff like that, then maybe Express is for you. It's the railroad card game. Stoneblade Entertainment is releasing a new version of You Gotta Be Kittin Me. This is a Target exclusive as well, so if you want to get this one, check it out in Target. You Gotta Be Kittin Me is sort of a liar's dice type of game, where you are bidding how many of a certain thing you think is on the table, and then the next player can either call you out and force you to check or up the bid. And in this version, you're not doing it with dice, you're doing it with artwork of cute animals. So instead, now there are there's like kittens with glasses, or dogs with bow ties, or things like that. And so a card either has a accessory or a color. And so you can say, I think there are 6 blues in the game right now. Or you can say, I think there are 6 glasses in the game right now, or 6 bow ties, whatever you want it to be. And so Yeah, it's just a sort of a party weight, lightweight card game. Plays 2 to 10 players in 30 minutes, and it is again a lightweight game. If you This new Target exclusive edition includes stuff to be able to it includes stickers so you can put your own animals into the game. You can add your own stuff into the game. That's the sort of selling point of this new edition. So if you want to add your own dog or cat into a game of You Gotta Be Kittin Me, then you can do that now. The Op is releasing a new version of Tapple called Tapple After Dark. Tapple is a party game that plays as many people as you want it to play. It plays in 15 minutes, and it is a lightweight party game. And in Tapple, it's sort of a lot about the contraption. It's a very fun physical contraption where, it's a little bit like catchphrase, where you have to say something in a category, but now it's got letters all around this contraption. So if the category was movies, you have to say something that starts with a particular letter, and then you push that letter down, and now nobody else can say something that starts with that letter. Jurassic Park. Oh no, now I can't say Jurassic Park 2. It's already been picked. And so, as this suggests, being called Tapple After Dark, it is the adults-only version of the game. The topics are going to be nerdy stuff. The topics that you have to answer for, it's still the same thing where you are pressing down one of the letters and nobody else can say it, but now you're thinking of adult stuff. So that's what I got for this month. That was like 23 new editions of games coming out in June. So I hope you're enjoying playing games out there. I did already release my best new games hitting retail video, so check that out. If you want to support this series and me and my channel and all that stuff, you can go to patreon.com/GrantsGameRex. And also, I just really appreciate you subscribing and sharing and all that good stuff. I hope to see you at a convention soon. I'll be at a bunch of them coming up. I'll be at World Series of Board Games. I'll be at Dice Tower East. I'll be at Gen Con, all that sort of stuff. I got things. You can find me for things. I've got promo packs for, they put me as a car in Rallyman Dirt. So if you want promo packs if you want like Grant's Game Rex cars in Rallyman Dirt, then find me and I'll give you one of those for free. I also got cool new enamel pins. So I'll have some of those on me at different conventions as well. So thanks so much, everybody. Hope you're having fun playing games out there.